Hey guys, it's Shelby, otherwise known as Shelbizleee here on YouTube, and today we are going to be talking about reusable pads. So some of you may know that I don't use a menstrual cup. It's just something that I don't feel comfortable doing, so I use reusable pads, and I got so many questions about this, so there will be a dedicated Q&A after this. But first, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the brand that I use because that is one of the main questions I got. So I use a brand called Tree Hugger Cloth Pads. They are made from bamboo, but they also offer organic cotton and a polyester blend. They're made by a small husband and wife company in Canada, and I accompany those with these period underwear, and my period underwear are by a company called Thinks. You might have heard of them before, and I'll have a discount code for them below, and I'll also go ahead and link you guys to Tree Hugger Cloth Pads. I just wanted to show you guys how I put them onto the underwear. The label goes down, and then they just snap at the bottom. I know that was a lot of people's questions. If you've never used them or seen them before, it can be a whole new concept as to how they work. So I went ahead and wanted to show you how you put them on and that sort of thing. The ones I use the most are made of bamboo, and they're also for heavy flows. That's the two determinations you can pick on the website. There are so many variations from different materials to different sizes, so it really is going to depend on what you want. Also, I'm really excited to be talking about this topic because I feel like we shouldn't be ashamed of our periods, but every single time I talk about periods on my channel, the video gets demonetized. Don't know what's up with that, YouTube, but if you guys could give this video a thumbs up for not being ashamed to talk about something that we have to deal with, you know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, thumbs up. On with the video. So since I work from home, whenever one of mine gets full, I just let it sit in water. It helps some of the stain remove, or helps them get cleaned out before I'll put them into the wash later. But if you're out and about, or even when I'm out and about, I have this thing called a wet bag, and one part of the compartments is lined with a plasticky type material so that it helps the smell not come through. It also helps things not get stained and all icky, and it's very easy to clean out. And then the front pocket is where you can keep your clean ones. So you take one out of there when you switch it out, and you put the dirty one in the pocket that is lined like you see there. It makes it so much easier to use reusable pads in public. People ask me all the time, how do you store them? What do you do when you have to change them in public? This is what I do. You guys know I carry around a backpack religiously, so I keep this in there with new ones, and whenever, or if ever, one gets full, I can just put it into the bag and I don't have to worry about anything going wrong with it. Super simple solution. Now, I already talked about soaking them, but then after they're soaked, you can use a stain remover to get out any stains, or to just hand wash them in general. This stain remover is really helpful for that. I do a combination of hand washing and machine washing, but I always try to get out as much as I can in the sink first. That way I don't have to worry about anything going weird in my washer, if that makes any sense. So I wash mine with towels, but I also hand wash it just like this. I just wanted to demonstrate how you can use one of these zero waste stain removers because it's not packaged in plastic. It's just like a natural soap bar like you would be used to in a typical shower. You can rub it on your pad, rub out the stains or whatever is in there. I do it in the sink with this little bowl, and it's very easy. I think a lot of people overthink how complicated reusable pads can be, but I promise if you are interested in giving them a try, it is worth it, and I'll get into that a little bit more during the Q&A. Also really want to let these air dry because the heat from the dryer can set stains. So, pro tip there. Alrighty guys, so I am low-key really hard trying to fight back the urge to say sorry for how I look because I'm not wearing makeup, I didn't get dressed, I didn't do my hair, I didn't do anything that I would normally do to film a video because period. I have struggled with my cycle for quite some time now. I don't think we need to get super in depth into that, but yeah, my cycle has been irregular ever since I did Depo, a form of birth control when I was younger. And when my period comes around these days, just kind of zaps all of my energy out of me, and whatever. This is the time to make this video because I think you'll understand. Probably a lot of you can relate. So I asked on Instagram what questions you guys had about reusable pads, and I got a lot of really good ones. So I'm going to cover them right now in the Q&A portion of this video. I wrote the main ones down so that I didn't forget. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Obviously, one of the questions I got asked a lot is what brand do I use, what brand do I recommend, and that is Tree Hugger Cloth Pads. As you've already heard me talk about, they're a really cool company. They do a ton of great things for the environment. The next question is, how many do you need per day / how often do you change them? How much do they hold? That sort of question. I personally use about 3 a day at most. Most days I only use 2. And your next question is probably how heavy is my flow? I would say it's heavy for a good 2 days, and then pretty light for another 2 days. If my period is regular, which there's no such thing for that with my period anymore. And that's why you saw me talk about Thinx underwear as well, because those two things together are a lifesaver, Thinx underwear and Tree Hugger cloth pads. I couldn't live without both of those things, so definitely a combination of both of those is how I deal with my heavy flow and also my light days. You guys saw me wash my cloth pads with my hands. Mostly that was just for a demonstration and to attempt to get that pesky stain out that has been there for so long, since before I got their stain remover. But on a typical day, I will store my pads if I'm out of the house, which I'm in the house a lot more now because I work from home. But if I'm out of the house, I'll store them in that bag. When I get home, I'll put them in the bowl to soak. It just helps relieve the stains, like release the stains and kind of get more blood out of it so that it's easier whenever you put them in the washer. And then after you let them soak for however long, then you can throw them into the washer. Now I typically only wash them once, maybe twice in my cycle, and I do not wash them by themselves. That would be pretty wasteful to wash just like 6 to 8 pads by themselves in the washer. So I do wash like my house coat, my towels, those sort of things in there with it, but definitely soak them before you do that. I like to get out as much blood as I can with my hands and then toss them into the washer for the final touches. That was another question, how many do you need? So since I use about 2 per day and my period is on average 4 days long, I have 8 pads, but you might need more or less depending on what size you want, because I go ahead and do like the longer ones for a heavier flow. If you want to have smaller ones, if that's your preference, maybe you want to use 4 a day, and maybe your period is 7 days long, and maybe you'll just have to wash them more often. It really depends on how often you want to change them, how heavy your flow is, what size you want, how often you want to wash them. So that answer is different for everyone, but I own 8 of them, if that helps you. I first ordered the white ones, that's why I have the white ones, but clearly they stain easier. It's not my favorite thing, so I switched to black, and now I definitely prefer the black ones. I don't have to worry about staining or anything like that. Another question people ask me are, what's the best material? So what's really cool also about Tree Hugger, I really love this company. What's really cool about them is they have cotton, bamboo, and what they call minky, which is like a polyester. So there's a different reason why you would choose each of those, right? Cotton would be if you want the most natural form of material. It has the least amount of like manufacturing done to get it to where it is. I would also say it's probably the least breathable of the materials. And then bamboo is really good because it is stain resistant. It's also a pretty sustainable material. I have tried all 3 of them. So then the minky ones are great for beginners. Like if you're switching from regular plastic pads, then I would suggest starting with minky, but you obviously know that there's an issue with microfibers in the water associated with polyester. So if you can go ahead and skip that and go straight into the bamboo, then you should do that. But minky is also going to be the most breathable and the coolest, like down there, if that makes sense. Someone wants to know if you can see them through jeans. I doubt it, but I don't ever wear jeans. I wear leggings and I don't have that issue, so I feel like if you can't see them through leggings, you won't be able to see them through jeans. But that also just be me like not giving a fuck. A lot of people ask about the odor and if it's sanitary. So the pads, the reusable pads, definitely 100% I have less odor with them than with traditional pads. I had an emergency in November, December. It was a really, I'm still dealing with like the health impacts of whatever is going on with my body. I don't even know. But I had to switch over to some disposable pads for just a few days because my period got so bad. And I realized that the smell with those pads was so much worse than with my reusable ones. So if you're worried about odor, then definitely reusable pads is the way to go to make the odor even less. But yeah, I don't have any problems like that. And is it sanitary? Yes, this is the way women did it before we created disposable things. Like for so long in human history, things that we are accustomed to now didn't exist and people use those instead. And yeah, it's sanitary. Yeah. Someone asked me about overnight. For overnight, I just stick to my Thinx. I typically don't bleed much overnight because your body is like this and the blood just kind of stays. It doesn't really come out. At least that's my experience. So then in the morning, whenever I wake up, I kind of run to the bathroom and Mother Nature and gravity do its thing, and I don't have to worry about putting a pad on for nighttime sleeping. I just stick with my underwear. Thinx underwear. not regular underwear. We want to be careful. A lot of people ask about how to keep them in place. I definitely know this struggle. They do not always stay put where you want them to be. I find that the type of underwear you're wearing is very helpful with that. So if you're wearing something that is tighter, it's not going to move as much. If you're wearing something more of a full figured underwear, it's not going to move as much. The cheekier your underwear get, the more likely it is that they will move. I've definitely found that. But there's no foolproof way to stop your reusable pads from moving. They just naturally will move a little bit as you walk or move, that sort of thing. And how long is the lifetime of the pads? I honestly have no clue because I haven't ever had to buy new ones yet, and I've been using the ones I have now for 2 to 3 years. Yeah, something like that. So they definitely at least last that long. And I couldn't find any information about this on the website for tree hugger cloth pads either. It just says for years, so take that for what you will. Alrighty guys, so those are all the questions that you asked. Those are all the things that you wanted to know. I hope that I answered all of your questions, and if I missed any, you can definitely ask them in the comment section and I will answer all of your questions in the comments. If you're new to my channel focuses on eco-friendly and sustainable living, but if you just happen to come across this video because of reusable pads, hi, welcome. I will answer any questions that you may have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna link everything in the description. Like I said, the bag that I use, the pads that I use, the underwear that I use, the other underwear that I use, the stain remover, all of it will be linked in the description. Definitely check it out. They are affiliate links and I always appreciate it when you guys use them if you're in the market for those things, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it was helpful, and remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye guys. You tell him bye? Oh, he's asleep.